and welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is the match review of Manchester United against Brighton. 2-2 it was in the final whistle, and somehow it's 3-2, Jay. What's happened?
I've never felt this excited about like a second game of the season.
You can't
win.
even call this a last-minute winner. This is like AD. This is
Even Fergie didn't do this.
What is this?
Mate, it's
What do you
overtime.
call it?
Back has just said, Adam McCauley shouted overtime then. And he's right, like, we drawn. The game was drew. It's full time, 2-2, that's it. They've scored a last minute equaliser. It's over.
Has this ever happened in the history of football?
I'm sure someone will tell us in the comments, but I've never experienced it as a fan. Honestly, I've never seen anything like that where the whistle goes, it's over, and then you get brought back for a bit of VAR.
Speaking of being brought back, people in the comments saying, if you're happy, then you're not really a United fan. If you're not happy, fuck off.
Seriously, if you can't get happy about winning a game
after the full-time whistle.
Gone. What's the point?
Part of it is amusement and surprise and shock, and we'll get into the performance in a little bit. But to win a game after the full-time whistle, regardless who it's against, regardless of the situation, if you aren't happy with that, what are you watching for?
That's what you sort of, last-minute winners or things like that, twists and turns. It's what football's all about. Yeah. And we needed a win. We were talking about this as a must-win game before the match kicked off, because obviously the bad result against Palace. And then the way we played, the fact they hit the woodwork 75 times, the fact we had 2 offside goals disallowed, rightly, by the way. Yeah. And then for them to get that blueprint that they went through, far post, and it went in for him eventually. You think, it's one of those days where we've just thrown it away. But, mate, I was so buzzing when I came out of my cupboard.
With the penalty,
see you lot bouncing about.
We've got a super chat. We'll come to that in a second. The penalty that obviously they scored, they got a penalty. We had 2 goals disallowed for offside, rightly as you say. They had a penalty overturned for a dive.
Rightly.
They also hit the post. I know you said 75 times, but literally 5 times they hit the woodwork. No exaggeration. 5 times. So an absolutely ridiculous game from start to finish. Let's go back toward the start of the game, or looking at the game as a whole. How do you think United were today? Obviously, we got the win, massively important win. But how did you see United's game today?
I mean, we can't pretend that it was a great or a vintage Manchester United performance, because it wasn't. I know we got the 3 points, but like you mentioned earlier, we rolled our luck. They hit the post 5 times, which says its own story. We just couldn't get to grips with that sort of same passage of play they kept doing over to their left, our right. Aaron Wan-Bissaka was getting caught out of position a little bit. Then Bruno for the equaliser got caught out a little bit. We just weren't picking the men up, but we should have been. Going forward a little bit better, but still not quite the races. I still feel it's still, to me, for our United team, this United team feels a little bit like almost pre-season mode, still getting into the groove of things. And people go, you can't make excuses to professional footballers. But the fact is, if you're not match ready and match fit, then you're not. And the only way you can get there is by playing game after game after game. And you can see, it was awful against Palace. A little bit better today. I know Luton as well midweek, but a little bit better today, and hopefully now we'll start getting there, because we know we've got the quality there in terms of the players. Once the match fit, then you'd expect us to be able to beat teams like Brighton quite comfortably.
Yeah, and sometimes the thing you need as well is it's not just minutes, although I do think this team has needed minutes. It is confidence and things like this where, let's not forget as well, not only was it 2-2 at full time and we won 3-2, we were also winning. They'd already scored the last minute equaliser, so it wasn't as though it was like it had been 2-2 for ages, we drew and then we ended up winning. We were winning, that was taken away from us, so you have an extra pit of despair that you fall into when it's a last minute equaliser for Brighton, let's not forget. And then to get the winner 5 minutes after that, there is an extra high to any other type of win. We thought we were going to win, then we were certain we weren't, and then we won again. You've got to be a bit excited by that, haven't you? Ross Murphy with the super chat.
Yeah, I know we can all mock teams. You celebrate last minute winner or all that stuff. But this is what football is about, and especially as a Man United fan, we've seen it so many times and different levels. Obviously, this isn't similar to some of the other times we've seen a last minute winner in far more important games. But when you need a win and you get it in that manner, I've never, as a football fan, seen anything like that. When the whistle's gone, the game is ended, the result is that, and then, hang on a minute, there's a twist.
We scored a penalty in the 99th minute of 95, potentially.
And I've got to give credit as well. We were saying it on the watch-along to Harry Maguire, because first of all, he gets the header, it's going towards goal, but he spots it straight away, he kicks off. everyone joins in, obviously.
I don't think there's anyone arguing there was a penalty. You can't jump
No,
forward.
it wasn't. You look at the Victor Lindelof against Palace. If you're going to give that, then this is as nailed on a penalty as you can get.
Because Superman.
Yeah, he's Superman it. He's not the ball that's going towards the goal off where it's going.
Yeah.
It's everything you've wanted.
Ross Murphy with the super chat says, reminded me of the game where Liverpool got a point against Arsenal. Remember the late Dirk Kuyt penalty? I don't remember that one. Van Persie. Someone scored.
Yeah. I don't really remember that.
DZ says, is that what's going to be called Ole time then, after the game?
Mate,
I think there's only going to be a very limited number of people in that club, to be honest. I've never seen that in my whole life watching football. I mean, I don't think it couldn't have been possible before VAR, could it? Because once the ref's blown,
I think that was because you were saying that, weren't you? You said at the time on the watch along, you said, "Well, he's blown, isn't that it?" The game's
I didn't know what the rules were.
I was with you, but then when we saw him walking over to the screen, I thought, he's got to give that because it's a stonewall penalty. The only question is, if that even is a question anymore, is does Bruno put it away? And we all know the answer.
And Morpé was celebrating like this as well.
I saw that. I don't know who's celebrating seeing there's no crowd there.
You don't mind it though when they're celebrating like that, and then you just get a 99th minute winner. Let's have a look at some of the players individually then. Get your thoughts. Victor Lindelof has been criticised hugely for his performance against Crystal Palace. How did you rate his game today? Do you think he reacted from that performance, or do you think it was more of the same, a bit shaky from him?
No, I don't think we're great in defence, and we've mentioned the problems we had, but I wouldn't have pointed out Victor Lindelof as being particularly bad today. And I think against Palace, I would, even though it was a generally bad performance. Really bad, he stood out, didn't he, as the worst of a bad bunch. Today, I thought he was okay. He didn't. If Victor Lindelof isn't in my thoughts, then it's usually a good thing. Yeah. To be honest with you, and I wasn't really. I wasn't going, oh, what's he doing or any of that. I didn't blame him for the problems we were having. Defensively, we weren't great, but I thought he did okay. And you know, you want to see him getting back to his best. A couple of seasons ago, Victor Lindelof was playing well. Do you know what I mean? And he massively dropped off. And I want to see him getting back there. If he is going to be playing week in, week out, then I want to see him playing well. And I thought he was better today.
So Maguire is another one who's been a lot of criticism. He won the penalty. I thought he looked pretty good today, Harry Maguire. How do you think he was? And again, if there were these defensive frailties, who would you assign those to? What was it that made us, hit the post 5 times? I think they had 18 shots against us. That consistently damaging crosses to their left hand side, our right hand side. Who would you put those frailties down to?
I don't think either fullback covered himself in glory today. Personally, not all down to them. When you have a bad performance or an average performance by your team defensively, you can't just say it's just that one player. But Luke Shaw got caught up a pitch a couple of times where he did a nothing challenge a couple of times where it was literally just stuck a leg out. The guy's gone past him and he's not even really looked like catching him. Aaron Wan-Bissaka kept getting dragged out. And I was saying to you during the watch along that, the one thing with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, no matter what, is he's got bundles of energy. If he gets caught out of possession or whatever up the pitch, he'll get back in time and he still looks a bit off the pace for me. And again, it goes back to my earlier comment about how this has a pre-season feel in the sense that some of these players just aren't fit. I mean, I'm seeing comments there. I know you're going to get into comments in a little while, but Aaron Wan-Bissaka looks lazy. He's not lazy. No. He's not. Aaron Wan-Bissaka isn't thinking, I can't be bothered getting back to defend. I just think he's goosed. I think he is. Do you know what I mean?
And the fact that he didn't play against Palace, he must have been so short of fitness.
Yeah.
To have not played last week. So you can't recover that much fitness in 1 week. He needs minutes. I think he was poor. He was sloppy today. But if he's ever going to get back to where he was, which of course he will, you do that by getting minutes in the tank.
100%. We got away with it a little bit today because it could have been one of those games where you've played him and it's almost cost us. But yeah, he wasn't great today. And like I said, I think those two sort of stood out a little bit. But listen, he'll keep, if he gets back to the levels he was pre-lockdown, for example, where for me, I can't remember, it was me, Patson and Steve. I can't remember, we did a Player of the Year review and he was right at the top because he was having such a great season up till lockdown. He'd been like looked like a bargain for 50 million quid. Not been so great since, but he'll get back there. He's only young.
Philip Mersham with a super chat saying he thinks that Wan-Bissaka was hung out to dry a little bit by Mason Greenwood not tracking back. Do you think there's anything to that?
I don't agree with that. I thought Mason Greenwood actually in the second half, just before he came off, did a couple of times where he got back into our box, won back the ball, and then got us out of trouble with his skills. So maybe there's a little element of that, to be fair, but I wasn't looking at Mason going, you need to track back more. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I think, plus, he's 18 years old. Yes, he'll learn things like that as well. So you might have a small point, but it wasn't one for me.
Rashford's been someone who's been criticised a little bit post-lockdown, generally speaking, even last season. How do you think he looked today? Obviously, he had 2 goals disallowed for offside. He set 1 goal up where he was offside, and he scored another one. that was disallowed for offside. How do you think Marcus Rashford was today?
He did all right. I think he did well. He took his goal well. Okay, he got cut. The first offside, I'm more angry with him because it was needless. It was proper needless. I think it was McCullough who was saying on the watch along, you can look along your line. He got loads of space. He didn't need to do that. Second one, I'd have to see it again. Maybe he felt he had to get there. I'm not sure. So that's why he got caught offside. But it doesn't matter because, he took his goal well. And there was a time when he turned onto his left, I'm thinking, why has he gone onto his left? And okay, it gets a deflection, but you can't fault that. It's a good goal. And he needed it as well. He scored midweek. He's off the mark in the Premier League. He does get unnecessary stick off just muppets, in my opinion. Yeah. He is a Manchester United player. He's Manchester United quality, and he showed it today.
His goal was real quality.
Yeah, of course it was.
Not many wingers would have the ability or the composure to cut inside, go down the line, cut back one way for starters, and then cut back again the other way onto his left foot, make himself some space and stick it in. Ryan Hansen with the $9.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Ryan. He said, "Very happy we got 3 points, but let's be honest, we should have lost that game. We need a left back in ASAP. Martial was poor. We need to bring in a striker for the squad. Also a centre back and a right wing." I don't think we're going to get all of those this transfer window, are we?
I'd say we need a right wing for me. We need options. We're having to mix it up and make substitutions. And okay, we got away with it today, but there wasn't any attacking options really on the bench, was there? You're bringing in Van der Beek. You're bringing in who else was it? He brought on Eric Bailly.
No mention as to the lack of Igalo or Dan James on the bench either. I'm not sure why they weren't there, but they weren't.
They're not there. But then you ask yourself, if you're playing Manchester United and Anthony Martial goes off and Dan James comes on, do you think, oh, fuck, Yeah. Or Mason Greenwood comes off and Igalo comes on. No disrespect to those players, but they're not Champions League type players, are they? And, you have to look at those sort of quality players if we want to be challenging for the top honours, and it's where you aspire to be. And, we need other options, and you need another option that doesn't cost you 12 million quid from Swansea or whatever. No disrespect to him again, but we do. We've got to be brutal about it.
Yeah, Aaron Quinn saying 6 a.m. stress. I assume he's in another time zone, getting up early for the game there. The cup game against Brighton, which we literally play 2 away games against Brighton in a row, is going to be heated as fuck now. Absolutely love this game. It's going to be something.
Mac is shouting off camera there. Is it though? Is there going to be needle there between the Brighton ultras and the Manchester United ones, even though there's no fans in the ground?
Giving it one of these.
Maybe. I think Brighton would love it if they could sort of get some rivalry going with Manchester United, but I don't think it's going to happen, is it?
People talk about Paul Pogba. There were still a few performers who weren't great. We talked about Wan-Bissaka. We talked a little bit about Luke Shaw. Martial, a few times, wasn't quite in the right positions and gave the ball away in some troubling areas occasionally. I didn't think it was too bad. Paul Pogba did, however, get taken off. After, was it 80 minutes? Or
yeah, I mean, again, though, we were saying against Palace, he's come back from coronavirus. He's not fully fit.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with him coming off for 30 minutes. I thought he did okay today. I don't think he was brilliant. I don't think he was poor. I don't get why people are having to dig at him, being honest. And I think it made sense to bring him off. Even though at the time you're thinking, Pogba sort of backfires a lot of the time when you bring him off, especially under Ole it has. Yeah. But I get it because he's still, again, he's getting into the game, into the rhythm. And I think that, I'm seeing comments giving him a dig, but I want Paul Pogba to stay at Manchester United. I want Paul Pogba to play for Manchester United. We need Paul Pogba, and I think anything else is just crackers.
Who's going to give away penalties that get overturned if Paul Pogba leaves?
Exactly.
Someone's got to do it. Exactly. Right. Any final thoughts? So let's go through very quickly. You give me your player ratings for each position. I'm going to start you off. David De Gea.
I'll give him a 7 today.
Yeah.
I mean, the save that he made, you probably, when we looked at the replay, probably should have made it because it was straight at him-ish.
Yeah.
But he still does well to keep his legs closed.
Right back, Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Poor today.
Give
him a 4.
4. Centre back, Victor Lindelof.
I'll give Victor Lindelof. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah.
Probably a bit generous, but I'll give him a 7.
Maguire.
I hate doing that, so I'll give him a 7.5 just because of the goal.
Luke Shaw.
Involvement in the goal. Luke Shaw. Poor again. Probably not quite as poor as Wan-Bissaka, so I'll go 5.
Paul Pogba.
Paul Pogba. Not as bad as people are making out. He did okay. I'll probably give him a 6.
Yeah.
I think he did all right.
Matic.
Thought he did okay. Did the job.
Made a difference against the Pogba, the Palace game, where he wasn't playing.
Yeah, so I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. Greenwood.
Not his best game, involved a little bit, 6.
Bruno Fernandes, goal and an assist.
Goal and an assist. Again, I'm not mind if he has a bad game and he gets a goal and assist, so I'll give him a 7.
Yeah. Rashford.
I'll give, because he took his goal well, I'll give him a 7.
Anthony Martial, before we get into the subs.
I'll give him a 6. Not as bad as everyone says. And he did a little bit of skills where you think that's class. So, again, 6.
Eric Bailly.
Came on, changed the game, 10 out of 10, obviously.
10 out of 10. Fred?
11 out of 10. Absolute class
And
today.
finally, Donny van der Beek.
Donny van der Beek, in all seriousness, all the subs came on, did what pretty much they needed to do. It wasn't by his fault for the goal. And I thought, all the subs did a decent job. So I'd give all the subs like 7 out of 10. Just come on and got the win.
Very, very good. Someone says Bruno cost us 2 goals. He did, but he also set up and scored 2 goals.
So it counts as
Bruno
that.
Giveth, Bruno taketh away, or whatever they say.
That's very apt coming from you.
Thank you very much. Right, that's going to be all from us for the review. Absolute fucking breathtaking, that wasn't it?
This
For one
football
reason or
malarkey.
another.
It's hard work, innit?
United were 2-1 up after 95 minutes. Brighton equalised on the 95th minute to make it 2-2, and then United scored after the full-time whistle to make it 3-2. First win of the season for Manchester United. Much needed points in the Premier League. Thank you very much for joining me, Jay. Thank you to everyone for joining us at home. We'll be back for some fan cams and Adam McCall's review as well later on. We'll see you in a bit.